Good morning. Well, with the constant changing between the warm and wet weather, my garden has turned into an absolute jungle, but it is looking fantastic. That said, I've got 3 jobs that I'd like to do this weekend. They're kind of time sensitive. So the first one is I've got some rhododendrons along here that need cutting back because they're getting a bit too close to the house. Now, obviously, I can cut that back at any time of the year, but if I do it now, there's a possibility I might still get some flowers on it next year. The second is this rhododendron here, which again, it's just finished flowering, so if I cut it now, there's a possibility I might get some flowers on it again next year. But this isn't a priority. The biggest thing I need to do is down on the roadside. So this is the main section that I'm concerned with. As you can see, it doesn't look too bad, but if I leave it like this, the council will come along and they will mow it for me. Problem is, there's a lot of plants in there I want to be careful of. I don't want cut just yet. Now, I was going to go through and name a load of them. Unfortunately, the wind is so strong you won't be able to hear me. Now, the top section where I did that earlier in the year, that's still looking pretty good, but the lower section is looking really wild. So yeah, I'm just going to start from this end and work my way up and try and tidy it all up. So yeah, let's get on. That's looking better. It's not much of a change, but hopefully that's enough to make sure that the council realise it's being maintained and they don't need to cut it. So now, onto that rhododendron. So this is the rhododendron and it's quite a monster. Now, to be honest, I'm not too sure how to tackle this. All I know is it is too big. Now, the thing with rhododendrons, when they get to this sort of age, you can't kill them. I could cut that off at ground level and it would still come back. The thing is, it would be nice if I can still have this flowering. So rhododendrons flower on last year's wood. So you can see here, this is where the flowers were this year, and this is the growth that it's put out. So that's what's going to produce the flowers next year. So if I cut all the new growth off, I'm going to end up with no flowers. Now that's not a problem. Like I say, I'm not going to kill the shrub, but it would be nice if I have some flowers. But the main thing is I need to get this back because it's growing out too far and it's starting to swamp out the other shrubs around it, especially on this side where it's also getting quite close to the greenhouse and it's going to be shading out the greenhouse. So I'm thinking the lower section I just need to trim back slightly, and then I need to take some of the thickness out of the upper section, and hopefully that'll get some light down and I can actually get some new shoots coming up from the base in there. So yeah, it's just a case of working my way in, I think. Right, well that's starting to look better. Now I've managed to clear some space, so I've actually got space to work. I'm going to get a bit more severe with this. I'm going to try and take the entirety of the top out of it now. So yeah, let's carry on. So this is starting to look better, but at the same time I can see that there's a lot more that needs to be done to it. The annoying thing is I need to stand here to see what I'm doing and then stand in there to get it. So it's back and forth, and it's getting frustrating. So I'm going to turn the camera off for a while. I'm going to carry on fiddling with this, and I shall show you what it looks like when I'm finished. So see you in a bit. Right, well that didn't go as well as I'd like, but it didn't go too bad. So I've managed to reduce the height of the rhododendron, which was my main concern, and I've got it back off the shrubs around it. Hopefully I haven't done too much to it, so it will actually flower next year. But my main thing is I've exposed some of the branches at the back, so I'm thinking that will put new shoots up, and hopefully I'll get basically a new rhododendron grow behind this one, and then give it 3-4 years. I can probably cut all the old growth out, and basically have a new rhododendron just slightly higher up the hill, which would be absolutely excellent. But for now, I mean, I think that looks okay. I didn't want to go too severe with it, so yeah, I think now onto the ones down by the back door. So this is going to be great fun, because obviously I've only got a narrow access here, but I've got two rhododendrons here that I need to deal with, and I'm going to deal with them both slightly differently from each other. So I've got one here. Now this one's got quite a lot of new growth coming up from the base of it, so I'm thinking I can be quite hard with this, but I'll do the same as I've done with the one at the top of the hill, and just take a lot of the weight out of it, but not take it down entirely, because hopefully that will produce some flowers next year. However, this one here, it's very dense, and if you follow the branches down, it seems to come onto one or two big branches that come off the base there, and there's no new growth on it. So I'm thinking that one I'm going to have to be very hard with and literally just cut it down to ground level. Now I say ground level, obviously ground level is up there somewhere, so I'm going to have to do this off a ladder, and that's going to cause its own problems, because obviously there's another rhododendron here, which I cut down the other year in the same fashion. Now since then, obviously it hasn't flowered because I was quite so hard with it, but I don't want to damage any of this new growth, because hopefully that will produce flowers at some point. But yeah, so I'm thinking I'm going to start with this one because it's the easiest one to get to, and then I'm going to have to work out what I'm doing with that one there when I get around to it. But yeah, let's somehow climb up in there. Right, well I got it all nice and tidy along here, and I've decided that's all I'm going to do for today. So I'm not going to touch this rhododendron at all, because I'm thinking it would be nice to have some flowers in the garden next year. So I know this one is definitely going to flower because I've not touched it. So this one here I cut down a couple of years ago. Hopefully that one will flower soon, and then that one up there, obviously that's not going to flower for at least a couple of years because I've been quite so hard on it. If I keep them like this, then hopefully I can have some sort of cycle, so by the time that one's getting established and starting to flower, this one will be too big and I can cut that one down, and then just sort of keep it as a circuit. Every 2-3 years I can cut one of these three down and just keep them all rejuvenating. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like. I'm going to go back to enjoy my jungle, and I shall see you later.